training videos. In this video, what I want to go over is the lie box, okay? And what we're looking for is the bottom identity lie. Not just any lie, but the bottom lie. What is at the very bottom, at the root of the hurt, bottom identity lie. So it has to be about them, okay? This isn't a lie about their parents. It's not a lie about someone else. It's an identity lie that is about them. And when we find that identity lie, it is always something that can be, you can fill in I am blank with it, okay? So an identity lie is going to be something that is I am worthless. I am alone. I am powerless. I am hopeless. I am a piece of garbage, okay? It's always able to fill in that I am what? It's an identity. It has to be about them. You need to go for the bottom memory, okay? As you recall from the previous videos, we talked about the first 15 sessions or so. You want to find the bottom memory. So you want to find the bottom identity lie in the bottom memory, the first 15 sessions, so that they're getting used to emoting and connecting with that deep, painful emotion and lie that the devil gave them, okay? So as you may remember from previous videos, we're looking for, when we're asking, okay, let your mind go back, focus on that feeling of feeling abandoned. Let your mind go back. What does it remind you of? And then if they say, well, it reminds me of, 2 years ago when this happened. Okay, is that the first time you felt that way? Or have you felt that way before? That's what's leading us to our bottom memory, because it may not be the most recent one. You may have to go back further, and then they say, something 5 years ago, and then 10 years ago, and then when I was 6. Then you're at the bottom memory. And the bottom memory is where the emotion is going to be the biggest, okay? So it may be that you go back, you're watching them, you're watching their emotion, you're reading their body language, their facial expression, their tone of voice. You're trying to gauge, okay, where is the emotion? Where is it the biggest? And sometimes you'll go back to when they're a teenager, and they'll feel it really big when they're at the teenage spot. And then you say, okay, is that the first time you felt that way, or have you felt that way before? Then they might go back to when they were 6. And when they go back to when they're 6, it's like the emotion isn't as intense. It's like, well, yeah, I think I kind of felt that way when I was 6. But, so then what you do is you ask, okay, where did it feel bigger? Because it seems like maybe it felt bigger when you were a teenager instead of when you were 6. So the bottom memory is not necessarily always the earliest memory. It's where the emotion is biggest. Always follow the emotion. Don't just keep going back because you think that's what you have to do. Always follow that emotion. Where it's biggest, that's going to be the bottom memory, okay? So you're looking for the bottom identity lie in the bottom memory. All right, so let's walk through this, okay? In the previous video, as we were in the feeling box, we got down to abandoned, okay? She felt abandoned. So then we asked the question, where have you felt that way before? Or what does it remind you of? And we went back until 6 years old. She was 6 years old when her parents got divorced. So now it feels like, as we're in the session, it appears as though, okay, 6 years old, this is where the emotion is the biggest. We're gonna say this is the bottom memory. Now we're gonna find the bottom identity lie in this memory when her parents got divorced and she was 6. So once we arrive at that memory, then we ask, when your parents got divorced, how did that make you feel? And they're focusing and they're thinking, and the thing that really comes up, I'm sure they felt a lot of things, but the thing that's most prevalent, that's popping up, is I felt like my dad didn't love me. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And once again, that's a circumstance. It's not a feeling, it's a circumstance. I felt like my dad didn't love me. And so since she stated a circumstance, you ask how, right? When they give you an emotion, then you ask why. Circumstance, how, emotion, why, okay? So, felt like my dad didn't love me. Well, if your dad doesn't love you, how did that make you feel? Now, this is very important, okay? Because the person, we are getting into the subconscious mind when they start saying things that aren't true. Okay? It's entirely possible that you know this person and you know their parents, and they state something, my dad didn't love me. Okay, is that true? Like, if you know the person, if you know their parents, no, I know your dad loves you. Your dad would absolutely die for you. Of course he loves you. The last thing you want to do is say, well, are you sure that's true? Like, you get into, advice mode or something, and you start pointing out, hey, well, that might not be true. So let's not have emotions on something that's not true. Never do that. The reason they're emotional is because as soon as they start stating a lie, you know you're getting into this subconscious mind. That's how you know you're in the subconscious mind, because the logical mind doesn't believe such things, right? In her logical mind, she knows her dad loves her. But in her subconscious mind, it feels like he didn't love her, okay? So never correct what you know to not be true, okay? Because you may feel, well, that is not true. That is a man of God. He loves the Lord. There was mistakes made, but my goodness, he loves you. No. What you do instead, feel like my dad didn't love me. Okay. Well, if your dad doesn't love you, how does that make you feel? So you're assuming the lie to be true until you get to the bottom. Then afterwards, you can go back and fix it. Okay. But don't try to fix it before you've arrived at the bottom. Hope that makes sense. So, feel like my dad didn't love me. Okay, well, if your dad doesn't love you, how does that make you feel? Well, it makes me feel sad. Now, they've stated the emotion, so we're going to ask why. Why does that make you feel sad? Because I can't make him love me. This is so big. So now we're at, this really is talking about powerless. They haven't stated that it's powerless, but that's how she feels. I can't make him love me. I love him so much. He's my whole world, and I can't do anything to make him love me. That is a very painful place. So we're at powerless. Now, in the session, I wouldn't be surprised if I ask, how does that make you feel, if she would have said powerless? But it's not. What she felt wasn't powerless. What she felt was worthless. Okay? So there's your bottom identity lie. And you note that, worthless fits right there, right in the blank. I am worthless. Now, they don't have to state that. They don't have to state, I am worthless. You just try to get that bottom identity lie. Worthless, powerless, hopeless, alone. Usually it's some version of worthless or alone. Those are the two most common by far. Worthless or alone. Powerless, hopeless, I'm a piece of garbage. Sometimes the bottom is, I just wanted to die. And that can be a coping mechanism. We'll get into that later, but sometimes that's the bottom of, I just wanted to die. I just wanted to end it. And then we can bring Jesus to that spot to see if he can heal how he felt. How did he feel towards that person that wanted to end it, and have him heal that. So anyway, sometimes that's a bottom identity lie as well. Now, on occasion, we will have a situation where they're just not stating it. They're just talking around it, and 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 around it. And they're not landing on, you ask, how does that make you feel? They're not landing on worthless. They'll say, how does it make you feel? It makes me feel sad because I can't make him love me. Okay, well, if you can't make him love you, how does that make you feel? And then they'll start talking about, well, my dad said this to me, and they'll start talking about more about the memory, or they'll go on other bunny trails, or they'll talk more about these emotions that they were feeling. Like they may be showing tremendous emotion, but they're not stating the bottom identity lie. They might be stating very true things about the event. They might be describing it, and they're saying things that are true. You can't fix something that's true. We have to find the lie. So one little tip that comes in handy is if they're just going around it and around it and around it and around it, and they're not saying, I feel worthless or alone or whatever it is, one thing I use quite often is, okay, I want you to focus on where you felt like your dad didn't love you, and you can't make him love you. What message did you receive that you can't make him love you? then they state, then it encourages them to say, I am blank. Yes, what message did you receive? What did you receive from that? I received, I am worthless. Then the tears come, So that comes in handy on a frequent basis. All right, enough for this video. Thanks, we'll see you in the next one.